You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, it's AFTERBUZZ TV's Game Control Live.
Hey guys, and welcome to Game Control Live with some Christmassy beats from Diddy Kong Racing. That's right. So, sitting across from me, Grant Kohrmann.
Howdy, everybody.
What's up, Grant?
Hey, what the hell is this sitting next to me?
Why, I believe it's Raychul Moore.
Hi!
And next to me, the lovely Kaori Takee.
Hello.
Look at those Christmas colors. And me,
Hot pink.
not wearing anything
Yeah.
Christmassy at all, because I'm wearing the blue for Jewish Hanukkah, even though it's over now. Dave Klein. And we have with us a guest who joined us a lot of times.
A lot of times.
But now,
Yeah, quite a few.
lot of times. But now on the special guest couch, Patrick Dees.
Look at that. I got all this room. I got a whole couch.
There could be three of you.
You
can lie down and just enjoy yourself.
I'm kind of liking this. I'm not
There
going to
could be three
lie.
of you.
Relax, sir. You don't have to sit in these goddamn
I'm
chairs.
jealous.
Say just lean. I like it.
Ah. But with us, John, quick in the booth.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You know what else I'm bringing you out to you? The phone number, which is 424-256-1729. Call in. We no doubt want to hear from you guys on this lovely holiday special edition. And very much like Dave, I am not wearing anything Christmassy. That's actually because I am a Norse paganist, and I believe that there is some different celebration to Odin going on later. I kind of got to cut out my eye for that, but you know, you got to do what you got to do, right, Dave?
In the booth, John, quick. So,
That just confused the hell out of me. I don't.
What? I found it funny.
let's move on to some
I worship
stories.
Odin, okay? Do
So
you want
we're
to be a
gonna
dick about it?
We're going to be talking about some holiday guides, what we think that you guys should get, what we recommend, games that you should get for yourself too, or ask for, or games that you should get for your friends and family. We're also going to talk about a bunch of quick hits, such as Konami requesting Skullgirls be taken down, Atari planning to end their bankruptcy with a 3-year plan, Microsoft closing shop in Canada. Sorry, John, who lived in... I was going to say jolly old Canada, but that's England. And we're going to have a whole bunch of other stories. But first, let's go ahead and talk about the fact that the VGX happened.
Yeah, I mean, it happened.
I'm trying to wait for the song.
What is this?
We've
This
got a
just ruined
madman in the
everything.
booth. You realize this.
This is not from
Canadian
Donkey
song
Kong.
Okay.
ruined everything. It's Oh Canada.
It is
Thanks for
Canada.
bringing the show down.
Do you know you can drive any Canadian crazy by singing the lyrics to "Oh Christmas Tree" to "Oh Canada"? Drives them crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Any comedian.
Any Canadian.
Oh, I thought you said comedian.
Yeah, no.
It's like, why are they
You're
trying
like,
to comedian
you're like,
crazy?
I don't know.
Future watch.
Nice.
Sorry.
So,
We're having our own conversation, sorry.
oh, Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and talk about the VGX Awards, which happened. But first, before we talk about the actual awards themselves, Rachel, you weren't here for this, but we did a little thing last week, which was to see who could predict.
A little thing. It was the entire show.
It was a little thing. We were going to see who could predict most accurately what was going to win the most awards. So,
And I told you I would do it.
wait.
So you brought
I
You
brought
brought
it.
a trophy.
I didn't know that I won this. I'm just putting this out here. This
Yeah,
is going to
you
go
labeled it
to the
best
Professor.
Wait.
best video game.
First of all, you just ruined the winner because I was going to try to build it up.
Spoilers.
I didn't.
Spoilers.
I didn't wreck the winner.
All right,
But-
who's the winner?
Wait.
didn't know.
So, the person coming in last by a long mile was Grant.
Not even a long
By a
mile.
long stretch of 1.
1 point.
With
and
1 point.
Honestly, it got confusing at the end.
With 1 point was Grant.
He didn't understand how the voting works.
So Grant got 8. John and I were next up with 9.
There were hanging chads. Let's just admit it. Pregnant chads.
Yes.
I'm so confused.
So Kaori had 10 correct, and the winner with 12, Patrick Dees, will accept the award that he himself bought.
I'd like to thank my family and my friends. This is one of the bigger moments of my life.
All
I couldn't
their
have done it
support.
with all their support. Absolutely.
There
Far
was-
too long studying video
So
games.
the winner of the award show, Patrick
I'll
Dees.
take it home. I'll take it home.
let's go ahead and talk a bit about the VGX Awards. I'm not sure if
I hate
Ouya's
the
watched it.
VGX Awards.
Well, I'm not talking about the VGEs, Rachel. This is the VGX.
What a load of crap. Okay, go ahead.
So they completely changed it up this year. It's a new format
See how he won.
from before.
I'm like looking back at this, and I
Oh,
don't.
he's fact
Oh,
checking.
controversy. We having a recount? I think he's jealous.
For the most part, I mean, like there were 24, and you got more than half of them wrong. Well, there are some that I didn't write you down for.
He got 12 of them right if there were 24. And plus, these weren't talking about the ones that
me see your
people
notes.
guess. Like,
Oh,
this was.
this will lead you down the wrong path.
Yeah,
isn't the one
no,
that
no,
we're
it's,
waiting for.
You had
It's-
marked off what actually won, right?
No.
no, it's the
Oh, okay.
scribblings of a madman.
I didn't even watch that.
him do it. It
I
was
don't want to delve into this mind here.
So, okay, let's actually talk about the awards because, like, I have to say.
Oh, God.
It was
Okay, go ahead.
very miscast for the hosts. Both of them. Not only did they not work together at all, they
Who
had
else would you
zero
choose
chemistry.
Who else would you choose than Jeff?
Well, Jeff has no personality.
show
I'm
I
sorry.
think I would have done a really good job, actually, just putting my vote out in there.
Everybody said
Yeah, let's start that
they would've
campaign
done
now.
Well,
Let's
okay.
get out ahead of it. I like it.
As far as hosting goes, I honestly think you could take any two people in this room and it would be a better combination than those two together.
I would agree.
I would be the first to disagree. We're
Jeff
horrible.
Keighley has a
I'm
very
horrible.
dry sense of humor.
Awesome. Speak for yourself.
Very dry personality, and I don't think that works well with Joe McHale.
Well, there's just no chemistry, right? Like, I mean, I even said that on the show, right? Hey, we just met like 3 hours ago. Like, clearly none of this was rehearsed.
The whole show doesn't have much chemistry.
Joel
period.
couldn't have wanted to be there any less.
I
Like,
don't. That's his personality. He even said at one point at the very beginning of the show, he's like, like I would not have come here for any other reason than the fact that my wife woke me up today and reminded me that I had to do this really boring nerd thing to do today. And like that's his humor. He doesn't say that because he truly dislikes something. Like he is that is his personality.
Still,
He's
wrong-
stupid on the
wrong
community.
audience.
He's
Wrong audience.
Well, the
he's-
point is, you don't make fun of nerds and gamers for a Nerd Gamer award show. That's supposed to be the big award show of the year.
Yeah, wrong
But
audience.
on the same point, so that was my points against Joel McHale. On the same point, Joel made some funny.
What's playing in the
Joel-
background?
What does the fox say? I don't know why John chose that,
John,
but it's okay.
What the hell is going on in the
So,
background?
but then the other point to me though is that even though Joel had those, like, I thought that was terrible they did that, but that is his personality. You hire him, that's what he's going to do. The other thing is he
Yeah.
actually had some funny jokes, but Jeff
Yeah, and he had funny when Jeff
but
had
Jeff
not at
immediately
all.
shot him down for any funny jokes that he had. Jeff immediately ignored them. They argued.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a terrible
And
chemistry.
Honestly, I'm a gamer. I love my PC. I love the fact that I'm a nerd. I'm willing to accept that if Joel gets on a show like that, he's going to poke fun at me. And a lot of people were immediately on Twitter going like, why is he making fun of us? Why is he Can we
I
not
don't
take
mind.
a joke or
Okay,
two?
I don't mind his sense of humor. I like people that make fun of other people. But for me personally, I didn't watch this catastrophe because I've seen them in the past.
I think good. Congrats.
But
you shouldn't have.
The VGAs or VGXs, as they call it now, is such a slap in the face to gamers already. I don't need a host also making fun of the fact that I'm a gamer because
So
the
Kevin
award
Moreno-
show already is awful, and I
Kevin
think
Moreno in the chat
does
said
not
Aisha
represent us.
Tyler would have been a good choice.
I
And
agree with
actually,
that.
After like almost a couple of after 4 or 5 days of seeing this travesty unravel on Twitter and like the hatred that came out against Joel and Jeff, actually that's the first person I've seen that I totally agree with.
No, I
Yeah,
agree with
yeah.
Aisha Tyler. So Joseph Bose is saying, I've seen a bit of it, and I lost interest in 5 minutes because these hosts sucked ass. The presenters of the awards were more entertaining than them. What were you going to say, Patrick?
Well, two things. So I'm going to focus on the positive. What I thought came out of this was I thought the format was actually kind of a step in the right direction, right? The format itself. I like the ideas of bringing devs in, sitting down, discussing the game. Like that could have been really cool. And I think that's what made me really angry about it. Is like to your point, Grant. Like he's a snarky son of a bitch. Like that's kind of his. But it wasn't that normative snark. It like authentically felt like he didn't want to be there. Like asking Tim Schafer when he thought about this if he was high. Like I mean honestly like it
that's
felt.
like-
Yeah, I mean it just none of it. He
Watch
felt.
5 episodes of The Soup and you'll see him do that to every internet and TV celebrity that he has on the
right,
show.
but it's just wrong
Right, I think
place
he was
for
just the
him.
wrong
I
choice.
like
Yeah.
his sense of humor, but wrong choice. I would have actually
I
rather
don't
had
think
like Conan
anybody that
O'Brien.
got
Yeah.
there-
He didn't know anything about games either. That's the other thing too, and
Conan
it was really
O'Brien would have
apparent.
said the same stuff, and he would have been
His
given
humor
a pass
isn't
because
as an
people
asshole,
watch-
though.
people
But
watch
Conan
him
O'Brien
and know
can be
that he's
dry
like that.
and sarcastic without being an asshole. I think Joel McHale is dry and sarcastic, but he says it as a very assholey, snarky way, and that's the difference.
But it didn't further the conversation. Like I'm a huge Joel McHale fan. I think he's fucking hysterical. But what he did was, do you remember he's asking the Telltale guys? He's like, do you ever want to make a game about trees? It was totally just derailed the whole conversation. It wasn't.
But at the same time, Jeff was at the same time asking the worst PR base, I'm gonna hype up everything question.
That's what he does. That's
right,
like
I know,
his job.
but that's why he shouldn't have been
Kiss ass.
I'm saying that's why I didn't like either of them.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I love Joel McHale. I think he's a great host. I think he's fantastic. He wasn't right for this.
Just not for
like
this.
you said, Rachel. And then as far as Jeff goes, he's fine for interviews. He wasn't right for this. I thought
fine for
neither of them
interviews.
were right.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, I'll say the one thing I did like, I actually loved the fact
highlight.
that Joel was ripping into Jeff. I was like, that was my highlight of watching the show.
Yeah, but like it wore thin. Like how many times is he gonna ask him about his layers?
No.
He asked him about the
Forget about
layers.
that.
He kept saying
That's
like 9 times.
The highlight of the show was asking Jeff to pick like what he thought was like the best out of all the world premieres that they showed.
Yeah.
And like to ask him to actually solidify one game out of the 10 that he was like hyping up during the show.
Okay.
And he couldn't do it. He was like, oh, and he called him even before he even said anything. He's like, oh, you're just gonna say all of them are really, really nice. I'm gonna solidify on the one that lets me rip people's arms off.
I
and
think
hit
it
them in the
sounds
face
to me
with
that
it.
Joel McHale did not want to be there, and he was just there for a paycheck.
I'm gonna do this for you. Actually, I brought some of my favorite Joel McHale quotes for the night. So this obviously they were pushing Twitter really pretty hard during the course of this thing. They kept checking back in, obviously all negative criticism, and he said, "Criticism on the internet, that seems rare."
But then Jeff's response was the worst.
What was Jeff's response?
No, because here's the funny thing. I actually thought that was funny. That quote.
I agree. That was
a good
one
quote.
of these.
But then Jeff's like, no, this is like gaming's biggest moment. Everyone's here to celebrate. We've come a long way. Like, it's like, come on, just take the joke.
Honestly,
it's a joke, Jeff.
That is gamers. That is gamers in a nutshell. They whine about wanting acceptance, but they cannot take a joke. In fact, when you joke with gamers on the internet, they can become introverted and they become angry and they
There's
cuss.
a sense of entitlement for sure.
Yeah,
but Patrick, go on with your quotes.
I will keep going. He said, like many of you at home, I'm wearing an adult diaper waiting to be soiled. Also not too bad. Again, out of context, it's not that bad. It just, altogether they were terrible. He wrote, he said, I use my Wii U pad in the game, I use my Wii U gamepad in the bathroom while my wife watches Downton Abbey.
I would do that.
All right. He said, guys, I don't know about you, but I've been taking a shot every time someone said next gen, so I'm pretty wasted.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's actually pretty funny
It's
given
not
the
bad.
context
It's
of the
not.
show. Given the fact that he was making fun of the show for how bad it was in itself. But I mean, outside that though, the show itself, I thought the production value was terrible. It was embarrassing production value to me. It's Spike TV. They should do better than that.
I agree.
Or Viacom.
Yeah, for sure. When they threw to the artists, like I feel like the in concept
the
music
artists
of
were terrible too.
Potatoes, You didn't see it, so you won't get this. They just started screaming nonsensical. It was ridiculous.
Oh, the Loiter Squad outside.
Yeah, I mean, like what was it you keep saying? I like Grand Theft Auto because I can buy cheese.
It's Comedy
What is it?
Central. It's linked directly to the Comedy Central, so they have like a vested interest in a lot of the stuff that was shown, including the South Park Stick of Truth and Loiter Squad and like.
But like, here's the other thing though. Like to me, like the fact that they're showing these sneak peeks and stuff, it completely ruins the point of an award show. To me, like that's fun, whatever. But to me, the point of the award show is celebrate what people did this year, honor them for what they did.
Yeah.
It ruins the point if you're like, but let's hype up the next announcement. No, you're supposed to celebrate. That's why I mean, for anyone watching, if you watched last year's GDC or this year's GDCs with Tim Schafer, fantastic job hosting, respectable, funny jokes.
Yep.
It was actually like respecting. That's what it should be. So I mean, to me, I just thought the show was a travesty.
It is a travesty every year.
It is every year, but to me, this year was actually. I thought this
so
year
bad.
was worse.
I hate that show.
I want to make a distinction though, because I think from a format perspective, it's really cool. So what they did, Rachel, is they brought in, so they would give an award or they make an announcement, and then they'd sit down with Telltale or Randy Pitchford from Gearbox, and they actually talk about the project. And I think that's better than I think people standing up and receiving their award and giving a speech and sitting down is boring television.
Right, but it sounds like when they spoke to the developers, they didn't get good enough content from the developers to make it worth it.
But what I'm saying
they wasted their time.
Right. But from a format perspective, I feel like they're going the right direction.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of work to be done, don't get me wrong. I mean, I constantly hear gamers saying, hey, take us seriously, respect us, and then you turn this on, and it was like, nope, okay, I get why people relate to... I mean, Grant and I were having a conversation off air about the stigma that the word gamer has associated with it, right? And like VGX helps perpetuate that in a major way.
Oh, we got somebody calling in. Let's go ahead and bring him on.
Caller.
Welcome to Game Control Live. You're on the air.
Hey, guys.
Hey, it's Jeff Keighley calling to complain about us calling about him. What's up, Watchtower?
What's up, Watchtower?
Hey, how we doing? I'm doing all right. How we doing?
So what are your thoughts? Because we're talking about VGX.
All right, now, okay. I saw the VGX as well. I was talking to Patrick on Sunday about it. And I have a lot of complaints thus far. I agree with the production value. I agree with the host. They just had no chemistry. They honestly looked like they wanted to fight each other at times.
I would have liked that, though.
Oh my God, that would have been awesome.
Had me tuning in 100%.
That would have been like best VGX ever.
Joe McHale has reach. Jeff Keighley looks a little bit
Jeff's
plucky.
Face every time.
I got $100 on Jeff.
If you look at Jeff's face every time Joel interrupts him, he just looks very frustrated.
He was.
Jeff, when pissed, looks like he could probably melt steel. Like his gaze is just like stone faced.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think Jeff might be a little bit more professional than Joe McHale in this instance, and that's why he was getting mad, because he was trying to get his job done while this guy's picking fun of him the whole time.
Well, he was, but at the same time, you have to remember that Jeff also didn't understand an actual good joke when it hit him in the face.
Well,
And then he would shut it down, which was also a problem.
Right.
It's supposed to be fun. That's the other thing is, with Jeff, it's supposed to be a fun show, and Jeff doesn't know how to have fun.
Well, because Jeff he is meant to hype stuff up. So yeah, again, that's why the hosts were a bad idea, because neither one of them could see what it was supposed to be.
I mean, I think
Jeff should have been to where he would just introduce the world premieres, because that's where he seemed like he would be kind of a good fit for.
Yeah, well, that's what he does.
I mean, he's a subject matter expert, though, right? Like, I think he makes sense. If they have a better color guy that they had some chemistry, I actually think that combo could have worked.
I think he's a little too dry.
Maybe.
I think you just need two totally separate people. Like, I mean, I think he works for what he works for. I think Joe works for what he works for. But this,
if you stuck with those two people and you allowed them to live in what they prefer, what they excel in, meaning like if you let Joel make his jokes and you let Jeff do his interviews well, I think it would have worked a lot better.
Can we all
during the show, they were both at each other's throats, meaning Joel would make a joke and Jeff would shut him down.
Yeah.
And then when Jeff would talk about like the intricacies of each game, like Joel was sitting there on the side going like,
All right, when are we going to talk about the games?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
please.
can I say a few more things about the categories of the games first before I go?
Yes.
There should have been more categories, honestly. Like,
is that the thing you wanted to say?
I don't think there was.
think so.
I don't know.
I think there should be more fun categories. I'm so sick of these standard, boring categories. I want best
boobs of the
fight
year.
Best boobs, best most interesting weapon.
Like best MMO games or best mechanics, you know, like, and also they should have had like if the like for Naughty Dog when they won, they should have just had like a video of Naughty Dog accepting the award or something like that.
I thought they did.
No, well, you know what they did this year?
They allowed them to do their own
every
video.
developer to do their own thing, which I think from a format perspective, it was really neat. They didn't fly anybody in; they just had their own. You get that flavor of what the developer did.
I mean, again, to me though, it just made it seem low brow to me. Honestly, that the fact that they did that, I was just like, you know what? It just seemed low brow. It seemed like they didn't put any money into it, and like, sorry, don't take us seriously because it doesn't matter. We won't even pay for your flight out. It does not matter. That's what it felt like.
They even made a joke during one of the interviews. He's like, "You paid to fly yourself out here, did you not, indie developer?" And I was like, "Wait a minute, that doesn't make very much sense."
No, that was really bad. But I loved the developer stuff, like what Irrational did. To accept their award. So they won Best Shooter, Rachel, and what they did was they brought in random employees or people that worked on the game and handed them the award and said, okay, could you please give a speech? And everybody's like,
some of these people are really well-spoken individuals, and they just like gave a deadpan delivery, like what am I
froze
talking
up.
about?
I thought it was hilarious. I thought that was really great.
Some of these people are really vociferous online, so I know they know how to speak well.
All right, Tower. Well, thanks for calling in.
Thanks for calling.
We should talk about the games a bit. So
for the ladies, please talk about the games.
John, happy celebration of Odin.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
To Valhalla.
All right, have a good one. All right.
I think it was no surprise. I mean, to me, I've talked about it. I think the show is
rigged.
I think the show is rigged. I should say I know the show is rigged, but regardless, so Game of the Year, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Boo!
I mean, I think this was one that pretty much all of us predicted.
Bullshit.
We went over this last week.
Right.
Like, we know Patrick won. We know I'm pissed off about that. we know that it sucked as far as the show and the host. So, like, what about the games that were shown and what was shown that was new?
Okay.
So you want to break that down? Do you want to talk about the awards first, or do you want to talk about the announcement?
We don't really talk too much about the
Everybody knows what. Everybody can go online and see what won and all that
But
stuff.
we
What
could
about
still
if the
talk about the
Yeah.
results.
one or two big games like who like.
Like I have something to say about Gone Home, okay? That one PC game of the year. That game fucking sucked. All right.
I'm doing this on camera.
No.
My word.
Oh, I thought you were gonna take off your pants. Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I told you that I would give you buy the game for you
No.
if you did not like it, because I stand by the fact that
You can't, you can't hear what Patrick said. He said, I told you if you didn't like the game, I would buy it
I think
for
he
you.
overpaid too. What did he just give you?
20. It was a $20 game.
Yeah, it's not.
She
going-
bought
It was
5
$20.
copies.
That's awesome.
I just got
I-
it yesterday because of Patrick's
Did you play it?
recommendation. I played it.
What'd you think?
I was mixed. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
Did you finish it?
Dislike What? Yeah, I finished
Finish
it.
it. Okay. So
So
we need to have a.
Did I not recommend Kentucky
Here-
Route Zero to
I
all of you
downloaded
last
it, but I
week?
haven't played it
Here's
yet.
my problem with
Gosh.
Gone Home. My problem was that
Everything?
I like this type of style of game. My problem was that before I played it, I went to the website and looked at the trailer, and the trailer ruined the game for me.
Oh no!
Stanley Parable
oh,
should
no.
have
It literally
won.
said like the fact that it said it's a love story. The moment I played the
Oh,
game,
no.
I was like, well, here's the whole story.
Well,
The fact that someone said best love story, I knew everything that was going to happen. It ruined everything, and I was hoping it'd be more horror-esque, honestly.
Yeah.
we'll
I agree with
talk.
you.
We'll talk off mic because everything I have to say about it is spoiler and why I loved it so much. So I'm really curious. We'll talk off mic at some point.
But anyways,
But the reason they took me up on my offer and not yours is because I got a money back guarantee. I brag
That's
about my
true,
taste,
that's
and then I'm
true.
like, yeah, no
Thank
exposure
you.
if you hate it.
I don't need to back this shit up with that.
You did good with
Rachel's just
brothers.
looking at the award winners and shaking her head. So Rachel, where are you shaking your head to? I gotta
All
hear
of this.
this.
I can't believe it. Grand Theft Auto Game
It's
of the
just
Year.
confusing.
Bullshit. Best shooter, BioShock Infinite. Bullshit.
Well, but they had
I
to-
love BioShock Infinite, but it's not a very
Out of
good
that
shooter.
selection,
I
Out
agree
of
with
this
you.
list, no.
That's
no.
actually-
Okay, well, which
Rach,
one
that's
out of that
actually-
list
hold on.
actually should have gotten it
Best,
instead?
best action adventure game, Assassin's Creed. Bullshit.
This is
But
actually
which
funny
one
because
out of
something.
those lists would have gotten it instead.
This is actually funny because something we talked about last week was when we were talking about making our own nominations. Was BioShock Infinite is a good game, but it's not a good shooting game.
Right.
So
Well,
it shouldn't win best shooter.
The,
Right,
foodie- the
but it's a
fighting
good
mechanics
game.
weren't that great, but the game as a whole is amazing, but it's not a good shooter.
Right. That's
Right.
that's basically what we said last
So
week too.
I
It should have
felt-
won best shooter.
I'm mad actually that I missed that category because I'm with you. I said Battlefield. I think
Battlefield is what I would have chosen, or
BioShock's-
Metro.
BioShock's a
God.
better
Did either of you
game.
play Battlefield?
I'm loving
Yes.
Battlefield. I'm in the multiplayer rate. When it works, it's glorious.
Yes.
To me, single
But-
player is a big part of both of those games, and if you played the single player campaign in Battlefield, you would come out thinking like, wow, how does a studio like DICE put out something this bad?
I'm a Battlefield fan. I love it, and I think it's a great
The
shooter.
only, I buy Call of Duty and I don't touch the single player.
I mean, Battlefield is the only one of those games on that entire list that is embroiled right now in a controversy about how badly their
Metro
game is.
Last Light was a good shooter.
It was a fantastic shooter.
Better than BioShock as a shooter.
No, right, but stay with me. Here's the reason I wish that I had got this one right, because I feel like everybody knows that BioShock was an outstanding game.
Yes.
But it didn't slot well. It was not going to be anybody's game of the year, right? Because that was going to be GTA or
Yeah.
Last of Us, right?
It was my
wasn't an
second for
RPG.
game of
And
the
it
year.
wasn't
Couldn't be a
going to win
shooter, yeah.
anything. And so if they didn't give it some sort of recognition in this category, and it's a better game than everything else on that list.
Rich saying Metro was awesome. It's so underrated. Actually,
Metro
that's what I wanted to win best
was
shooting game.
underrated, man. That
And
game
best
was
Xbox
awesome.
game, Brothers. Okay, great game, but BioShock Infinite. Hello.
I actually like Brothers more than
Actually,
BioShock
yeah,
Infinite.
Brothers was
Sorry, I agree with
Sorry,
fantastic.
Brothers is better than BioShock
I
Infinite.
liked it more.
Happy with Brothers.
Bullshit.
I didn't.
No, I can't be your friend
I could
anymore.
agree with that.
I got more
Can't
out
be
of the
a friend
story of
anymore.
Brothers, to be
Rachel, did
honest.
you beat Brothers?
No.
So.
It
I don't
takes
need to,
3
though.
hours.
I don't need to, though.
The ending
to know
of the
that
game is the
BioShock
point.
Infinite is better.
Just like
okay,
the ending of
okay.
BioShock
even
Infinite being
even
the
out of that,
point.
Tomb Raider was better than Brothers. Brothers is a fantastic game, yes, but
You gotta go through all the emotions
No,
of
she
Brothers.
needs to understand.
you know
She
what?
doesn't
I don't
understand
have
it.
emotions, so that's the problem.
You know what? I
That's
enjoyed
the problem. Troy Baker
Tomb Raider
won.
more.
That's
Tomb Raider was
good.
great.
Of course, Troy Baker won.
Robot Rachel.
Best soundtrack, Grand Theft Auto. Bullshit.
have
Nobody was
emotions.
surprised.
No
We
one was
voted-
surprised.
Nobody
We all
here.
notice that we all voted for.
We all
We all
voted-
voted that we thought that was going to
Yeah.
win. But I agree, it's bullshit. I want to see
I
Ni no
don't think
Kuni
real
win.
gamers actually vote on this because
I don't
listen to
crap.
Ni no
Well,
Kuni's
as
soundtrack.
we already
and then-
said, it's rigged.
It is
so, I
rigged.
mean, like,
It is.
obviously, real gamers. There is no voting, by the way.
Yeah, the voting's just like purely superficial, right? Like it's decided by committee. They
There were
say
two-
that.
It was
Yeah.
purely superficial for the
There
voting.
are only 2 or 3 categories which are voted by the fans, and the rest are all council.
Most
voted.
anticipated game.
Oh gosh.
Wait, what got that?
Titanfall.
No, it's Titanfall.
But that
Come
was
on,
actually
girl.
voted.
Come on. You know it's Titanfall.
Destiny. Destiny is probably my top
Yeah,
on that
I will
list.
say-
Followed by South Park Stick of Truth.
Exactly.
Great for that game.
Yes.
So can we segue over to announcements and trailers?
Sure, let's move over to
well,
the announcements and trailers.
Speaking of Destiny, I would love to hear what you guys thought about the trailer that they dropped.
Rachel has a black heart. I do.
Who said that?
The trailers
Rich.
were
Rich.
the trailers were basically recycled content from
There was
E3.
literally only one trailer that I thought was cool in the entire VGX, which I would have rather watched afterwards. Can you guess what it is?
No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky.
Damn straight.
That was the only thing that was worth
really
watching for
big
VGX.
announcement out of it too, because like honestly, all difference to the Titanfall folk, but I mean like that came out of like left field. That No Man's Sky. It's
Yeah.
like, what have you been working on since then? Oh, just this
okay.
MMO to kill all MMOs.
I will say that I like that they introduced that there's actually different mech play styles in Titanfall.
Which we assumed, right?
But I
Like
mean,
that
it's still it's cool. It's glad that they announced that. Watchtower basing VGX this year was aimed more towards the hipster crowd. Sadly, I don't think it was aimed towards the hipster crowd. It wasn't aimed towards
It's
anyone.
usually. I think it's usually
was-
aimed towards mainstream.
It was
just
aimed towards
mainstream.
mainstream because that's why they have rappers performing. They had Joel McHale, who's mainstream. It was very
It's just
mainstream.
MTV.
But-
It
video
was
games.
so MTV,
Blah.
Yes.
and,
Right.
all the bumps were
Makes me so
like
angry.
right out of 1999 that I feel like it was trying to appeal to the audience that doesn't watch video games and trying to make them
Right.
feel as though it was video games.
Yeah.
I'm gonna host my own award show, and it's gonna be awesome.
We
With
could-
hookers
we could
and
totally
blackjack.
do a better
Rachel
award
we
show.
just throw our own award show.
There's
I
gonna be
kind
a
of like
special
it.
guest of me. The performances will be me. It's gonna be
that's
great.
not
Oh, Rich, I gotta
narcissistic
tell you,
at
so
all.
there was a big Nintendo announcement at VGX.
Huge.
I don't know if you know
Yes.
this.
Earth-shattering.
Cool.
So, okay.
I
Nintendo
smell
tweeting
sarcasm.
out like minutes before, like, "Oh, Reggie's here to really ruin the show."
So Donkey Kong Country returns. Cranky Kong will be in the game.
I think that's
as a playable
awesome.
character.
I never liked.
Who
Okay.
screamed?
What? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna say I was being sarcastic. I love Donkey Kong Country Returns. I actually think Donkey Kong Country Returns is one of the best Wii games, hands down, and I cannot wait for this one.
This is Tropical
I can't. I
Island.
know. I'm saying I can't wait for.
Freeze.
I can't wait for
Tropical
Tropical Freeze because I love Donkey Kong Country Returns. But that's such like a. We have a big announcement for you guys.
I like it.
Come on.
That does not bode. I mean, they really needed to drop like a I don't know. I mean, what like
Zelda.
I
right
think it's
or
like
a
Zelda.
Metroid.
Metroid.
Absolutely.
People
Like if
were
he comes, if
saying
Reggie comes out there,
Metroid before it, and like this just is another. This is another indicator that Nintendo is so disconnected
Well,
from
look.
their
Here's
fans.
another thing though.
Not,
And
not
no-
in Japan. These are the
Nobody
things that get
was sitting at
Japanese-
home going like, "I'm waiting for the next Donkey Kong game." Like,
Because these are the things that get Japanese people excited. I'm serious.
yeah.
Look, I'm excited that Cranky's in the game. I actually am. But for a
Yeah.
giant announcement, it's not a giant announcement. That's something I want to play the game and discover while I'm playing the game.
yeah,
And be
yeah,
like,
that's
oh, cool.
a tweet from
I'm
Nintendo of
excited about
America.
it.
So-
I jumped up when I read
Chrome
it.
God
great.
15 saying the more awards, make it happen, world.
Yes.
So one person's on your side.
I'm so gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. Shoot it at home and have my sisters as special guests. It's gonna be great.
you have
Fantastic.
sisters?
I have 3 sisters.
You're saying
did
you
not
wouldn't
know
have us
this.
as special guests?
Oh, I'm. Oh, you can fly to North Carolina. Come fly, and you could be on my show.
Yeah, but it's North
I'll be in
Carolina.
Chicago or
Dude,
somewhere else
North
cold.
Carolina is pretty cool.
So largely,
So Luca Baduka would die for another Metroid. Look, here's the other thing that bothered me too is that speaking
No,
of
he
other
said-
Metroids, is
he
Jeff
said
Keighley
not
kept
die,
on like kill, but still, not die, kill. You would die for another. But like. Another thing was that Jeff was just like bugging Reggie constantly for like a big announcement. Like, come on, but we all want to hear about Metroid game. Like, this is supposed to be an award show where you're honoring people for what they did in the past. Stop asking for announcements.
except it's not. Like it's a vehicle to sell future
Yeah.
video
well,
games,
it
right?
is, but that's the problem with it.
I mean, I
That's the
knew it
problem
ahead
with
of
it.
time. Like they pimped out the fact that it's like you're gonna tweet until you unlock the next exclusive world
can't believe-
like
I know.
Which is
premiere.
also
I was like,
ridiculous.
Insert eye roll here. That was-
All right.
So you guys were not impressed with Titanfall. Not Titanfall. I'm sorry, Destiny. The Destiny trailer didn't excite you. Not
as
a ton of
like,
new footage, right?
Destiny used E3 to the
A
best
lot of that.
effect
Yeah.
as it could have.
I would
Yeah.
It did not use Destiny and Titanfall did not use VGX to great effect. Like showing the I don't understand people freaking out about the new Titan. Like it didn't to me like really. How hard is it to make a Titan that has more hit points or moves faster?
It didn't surprise anybody.
I mean, look, it's just a good announcement to make because we didn't know that was a for sure thing. Now it's a for sure thing.
I wanted to see actual more Uncharted stuff.
Except it was 60 seconds of play for the Titanfall. Like, here's 60 seconds.
No, I wanted Uncharted.
I know you did. We all know you did. I mean,
I like the
at the end of the day,
play. I like the Dying Light playthrough.
Again, that was a
like
vertical
seeing...
slice from like PAX and E3 that we've seen so
right,
much.
I mean, the Dying Light thing.
Dave, you and I
I'm seeing
played that
too much footage.
Slice it.
I'm seeing too much footage of Dying Light that it's not going to be anything like impressive.
Well, I'm
when
gonna say like Dying Light's fun. It's a cool game.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
Pat kind of can agree, but I mean, it's
Too
just
much.
like I don't need to see more of it. Like,
Spoilers.
alright, fine. Anyways. I think that's like, I mean, it's pretty much everything we saw at VGX. I mean, we should probably move on to the holiday segment.
Do you want to talk about the Telltale stuff?
Yeah, the Telltale stuff.
No, we don't need to talk about Game of Thrones, even though that's probably Kari's moment of the week.
No, it's not my moment of the week. Because
How about the
was
fact that the
a couple
developers
days ago.
actually didn't know the books? Who came?
That's kind of terrible, actually. But I mean, it doesn't have to be.
I wonder when it was announced. Like for them, I wonder when they knew or their company really solidified
It doesn't
that
have
deal.
to be based on the book, just like Walking Dead is completely.
No, I mean,
I
like,
actually think they have to do some
They
sort of
gotta
crazy
do it.
prequel or some like. I think it gets messy when you're.
Well, I mean,
overlapping.
here's the thing: is like, I mean, honestly, if you're a designer, like various aspects of the job, you don't need to have read the books, depending on your job.
Right.
You just don't.
Still. But my opinion on that is I do like Game of Thrones, but I don't want it to be a point-and-click adventure. It worked actually well for The Walking Dead. I want for what I would love to see in a Game of Thrones game is more RPG, action RPG, kind of like Dragon Age, but I want to be able to bounce from different characters all over the place, and then whatever I'm doing in this character's game, that is directly affecting the other character I'm
Like
bouncing to
GTA.
back and forth. Like GTA,
Oh, yeah.
but
That'd be a good idea.
not as open world and more
Especially
centered
when you have
around
to, like,
leveling up and
when you
actual
have to like juggle all those different factions.
actual combat like Dragon Age. I
Here's the
think that
thing
would
to me.
lend it to as well.
I'm also on the train of I love Game of Thrones, I love Telltale, I don't want to see them together. But to me, it's not because of that per se. To me, Game of Thrones is more of a political game. I think that's what it really is when you boil it down. Even though I usually hate politics, I love Game of Thrones.
You're right.
It's very much more of a political thing.
And you can't really
the
mess up the
only
storyline
Well, the
that
only
much.
to me, you could
Yeah, you
very
can.
easily
Walking
mess
Dead
up
did
Game
well
of
point
Thrones.
and click
No, I
because
mean,
it was an
like,
emotional
you
game.
can't mess it up and make it good.
Oh, yeah,
Because,
exactly.
Because George R.R. Martin has already outlined this tree of events,
Right.
and if you don't follow that
And it's all
tree of
super.
events,
Everything
like,
is so important. But like to me, like Lord of the Rings is something I love. That I was afraid that the properties coming out for Lord of the Rings, and the only ones to me that really worked were the ones that were pure action games that came out for PlayStation 2 and Xbox, because it just worked on what kind of worked from the movies, and
I
that was
just
kind
want
of
the
it.
choice to slap Joffrey.
Amen.
Many times during the game. Like I don't want to get to this one point and then say like how many times will you slap him? I want to
But
get to
there's
be able to
not
slap
going to
him
be
at the beginning,
nudity
and
in the
I like it
Telltale
middle.
game. There's not going to be nudity in it, and that's a huge thing that I like about Game of Thrones.
No, that is a bit of a concern because the sex in that universe is treated as a favor, as a power. You're absolutely correct.
It
and so,
sets the tone for characters.
I don't know how they're going to juggle that.
And I don't want Game of Thrones without boobs.
The other big concern for me too is look, Telltale went from a tiny studio, and then Jake Rodkin and Sean Bannerman left to go start their own studio. So the guys that actually wrote this award-winning Walking Dead, then they take on Fables, and now two other huge properties, right? They went Game of Thrones, and then that Tales from the Borderlands. Like, I don't know who's actually really invested in the Borderlands universe.
But I think
nobody
the Borderlands,
cares.
I think the Borderlands
good.
one actually stands the most because it gives Telltale the most freedom to really kind
No, Borderlands is not about that kind of gameplay. Borderlands is about the big ridiculous guns and the
but you're not gonna see that
vehicles
from
and
Telltale.
I know that's why I don't want them touching Borderlands because won't lend well to that universe.
It just won't be interesting, right? Yeah, I mean I agree. Nobody's right.
Borderlands
Watch
is
it
not
be like the most interesting and playable
point and
version
click
of all
adventures.
these.
No,
Yeah.
point and click adventures do well when you're really emotionally affected by the story and the characters, and you don't need. Hold on, and
Preach, girl.
you don't need the action that is involved and the controls in a lot of the action adventure games. Borderlands, I love it, but a lot of the story and emotional behind characters and stuff isn't that strong. So
And you said
Borderlands
you don't
is
have
great.
emotions. I don't know
Borderlands is great because of the controls and the shooting mechanics and everything that game is about. And I don't think that's going to transfer over well into a Telltale style
Rachel,
game.
I don't think it will. I don't think it's translated at all. And that's my point, is that universe is not that interesting. It is pure mechanics. And so, I just don't know anybody that cares about the characters in Borderlands so much.
Hold on. Okay,
You just
so
don't.
two things. So as far as adventure games go, I think actually some of the best adventure games are pure comedy games where it's not about an emotional story. It's funny. Like Day of the Tentacle wasn't this emotional story. It was just a really funny game that was well written. Monkey Island, another classic that's just a well written game. So I think it's either comedy that works or what you were saying, an emotional story. But the other thing is, with Borderlands, I think isn't part of the thing that people love the humor in the game.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe that's the aspect they're trying to prop
But
on. I'm just
also
saying.
the
I'm just throwing out
violence.
that might be part of why.
The guns are a huge part of Borderlands. I mean, that's one of the biggest things in Borderlands.
It's also a hodgepodge of everything that you could possibly
Not
mash
like
together.
it is in Borderlands. One of the biggest things that they kept feeding on in the Borderlands 2 trailer was how many guns they were going to have and the different types of guns. They're not just hodgepodge. There's tons of different guns. There's a gun you shoot and it makes silly little those little psychos, the midget psycho sounds, and it screams. That's freaking awesome!
Right.
And you're gonna miss that if you're not going to actually have the control and mechanics as Borderlands has.
It'll be a different type of story.
I will kind of agree with that because Borderlands is essentially Diablo, and what's Diablo without mass murdering a bunch of stuff so you can loot
honestly,
it?
It's just going to be a different
the
type
lore
of
of Diablo
Exactly.
has been watched over by a significant portion of their fan base. People adhere to that kind of stuff.
You know what I would rather
latch
see
onto it.
from Telltale? I would rather see a completely original adventure game that has no previous IP and try to make like a new Sam and Max style IP or like something brand new. That's what I'd rather see from Telltale.
Exactly.
That would be interesting.
But
I am
this is
concerned
where
about that.
they've defined themselves as taking stuff that isn't new and making it fun.
Yeah.
But now they've proven that they can make a fun game. So I think it's time to take that and make an original IP.
And that's not to say that this original stuff was not fun. I saw your shock there for a moment. I think you might have assumed that I was saying that it wasn't.
Or
fun
are they going to
before.
become a one-trick pony, and this is all we're going to see from them?
Oh, they
Walking Dead over and over again, just with different colors.
They executed that Fables, that first version of the Wolf Among Us. It was fantastic.
Oh, I haven't played it.
Fables was really
Is it
good.
out?
But yeah, just episode 1. We're still waiting on episode 2, but very well executed. So I'm super concerned from a scalability perspective, right? Because they were a tiny studio, and all of a sudden they've got these 4 huge IPs. Managing that to a schedule, because it's an episodic. You've got these deadlines.
2 years from now, 200 employees. 4 years from now, back down to 20.
I mean,
they fired
that scares me.
a significant amount.
Okay, well,
one more thing that came from a concern perspective was No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
That's a 4-man studio, right? And so how he said they were generating that universe was all procedural.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. So they don't have any, from a design perspective, they don't have any other way to do that. But my concern is
isn't
that
Minecraft procedurally generated?
Yeah, and that's what
So that was
allowed
one person.
Mojang as a small studio to be able to produce that size of a game.
Sure, and that's interesting if you're not recycling the art assets too much. I'm just concerned, but I think
you
that
do
is the
it well
coolest
enough-
named thing that came out of that.
If you do it well enough, like recycling doesn't really end up it's all about how well you recycle the used art assets. Like I downloaded a game, Starbound, incredibly small by the same people that made Terraria.
Okay.
And like it procedurally generates everything in the game, not textures, but like the levels and everything else. And like the footprint of the install for that game is incredibly small. I was shocked at how small it was.
That gives me hope. I'm excited about that game.
We do need to move on to another topic. So, as the music indicated at the beginning of the show, a long time ago, we're going to talk about the holiday season, which is actually, if you're Jewish, it's already over.
We're knee deep in it.
But let's go ahead and talk about
some stuff. You're already behind.
Right.
Schedule.
So let's go ahead and talk about like what games that we would recommend throughout the year, or even just now that have come out for people to buy either for themselves if they haven't played it, for friends, family, or if like your bros like, yo, I really want a good game, and you're just like, you gotta get this one.
Right.
But do it like that.
You gotta get this one. I'm actually gonna say, like, honestly, one of my favorite games of the year was Tomb Raider. So that's a game that I'd say if you haven't played it. I know Rachel doesn't like it. I love Tomb Raider. I would.
Tomb Raider?
I did like it. It didn't leave anything in my heart.
I loved it. It was one of my favorite games this
like
year.
my
have feelings.
Me too. It was one of the most. It's the most fun I had playing a game almost all year.
I just had fun the whole time through.
Absolutely.
I never want to put down the controller, so I'd actually recommend Tomb Raider for people who haven't checked it out.
Yay.
So that's my recommendation while I think about more.
Gosh.
Who wants to chime in?
I mean, I have so many. Like,
Well, I'll let you all go first.
a 3DS if you don't.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a nice present.
I'll agree with that. I think.
Can I sign up for your Christmas list?
And then make me your friend.
Okay, my recommendations for Christmas this year is Last of Us, BioShock Infinite, and Super Mario 3D World.
Okay.
Oh, you
I
just played
covered
it?
all
Are you
3
enjoying
systems.
So did you play Super Mario 3D World?
Yes, and I get to be a pink kitty cat.
Wait, because you had skepticism like I did over it when it was first announced. You're actually really enjoying it.
I am, but I would still, I still want a Mario game,
Yeah.
like Sunshine and Galaxy
Because I
and
still haven't
64.
picked up 3D Worlds. That's why
You're
I'm
gonna
curious.
love it. It is really good, but it's still a little bit too much in the style of Mario Co-op Bros and
Right,
Super Mario
that's too
3.
bad.
Kind of tired of that version.
More
But you
music.
get to be a kitty cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kitty cat thing's pretty crazy.
I'm gonna jump in. I agree with Kaori though. Actually, this year the 3DS has been my favorite system.
Yeah,
No
man.
kidding.
Various games.
Yeah,
That's
So-
fantastic.
me too.
I love my 3DS. I mean, Link Between Worlds just came out, which is
Ooh, Kevin said he got a 2DS in the chat.
okay.
That's
Or get a
good.
2DS.
Is that our first
Alright.
listener with a 2DS, or did Alyssa
You know what?
have one?
Here's the thing. I'll say Link Between Worlds has been one of the best examples of the 3D working well on the 3DS.
I haven't played that.
So there are actually some really cool segments where they make you actually be like, wow, this is good use of the 3D. So that's a good reason for Link Between Worlds. But yet, Super Mario, the new Mario RPG, Paper Mario game that came out for 3DS,
Is that
which was
good?
really fun. I like the first one that came out more than Mario and Luigi. The new Paper Mario game was fun.
I haven't played Paper Mario since the GameCube, and I loved it, but none of
It's
the other
like
ones
that.
after that have
It's
really
not as good as the
gotten me.
GameCube one.
Okay.
But it's a good game. They tried something different, and it works, actually. It's actually pretty fun. But
Dave, does the Link Between Worlds, does that factor in your Game of the Year list when the dust settles a little bit?
no.
No. Okay. I'm just curious. Just curious.
It's a good
All right.
gift, though.
But it's a good game.
All right. Yeah. Fair enough.
What are you, Patrick?
I brought 4 games that people might have missed over the course of the year.
Ooh.
So, if you guys didn't get a chance to check out Call of Juarez Gunslinger, it was one of the better written games. We actually had the writer on one of these
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah,
right?
that's
And
great.
that game just flew under everybody's radar, and
I would say that's the one that you convinced me the most of over the year.
yeah, I know. I go around overselling games. That's my job here.
Yeah, you do.
So
Jeff Keighley, is that you?
Yeah, exactly. No, I had a lot of fun with that game. I think it's brilliantly written, and it had, like conventional shooter mechanics that exist for no reasons, like waves of dudes, were explained in narration. He's like, "Well, guys just kept coming," and I kind of love that. It was a really quirky
That's what
game.
I loved about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just a great shooter. We've talked at length about Brothers, but one of my favorite games of the generation, probably. I know a lot of people missed that, so if you haven't picked up Brothers, do so. I've spoken a lot about Metro Last Light, but that was a shooter that was not on my radar at the beginning of the year, and I think sold abysmally. Was nominated for Shooter of the Year, so I'd encourage people to pick that up. And I'm going to end with, despite this half of the table not being enamored with Gone Home, I think Gone Home is one of the finest examples of writing in video games, and I also think it is hands down, it's the best voice acting I've ever heard.
I just downloaded it, so I'll let you know what I think when I play it.
I'm not saying I didn't like it. I did like
Sure.
it. I just didn't love it.
All right, so we're going to talk off camera. So
right.
There's a lot of games that
I'm
were
not going to extend it
nominated
to
that I
all of
didn't
the
love.
chat. I'm not going to extend that $20 for the free game if you don't love it to the entire chat. But it moved me in a lot of ways. It resonated as a '90s kid. It was real impactful.
I'm excited. I want to capture it. That's why I haven't played it yet.
Let me throw in. I agree with you on Brothers too. Sorry, I'm kind of just throwing tossing ones in, but I totally agree with Brothers 100%.
Does our booth babe have a game that he wants to recommend?
I will never call him anything but Booth Babe ever again. That's
Well,
fantastic.
first and foremost, I have this for you,
They're called
and
Booth Boys. Booth Boys.
My Booth Boy.
but recommendations. Well, other than you guys pretty much hit on all of my ones. I've actually been going mostly retro this year. I haven't played a lot of the most recent releases. I haven't enjoyed it.
I'll throw in one more that I thought was one of the most interesting co-op experiences I had this year was the last Dead Space 3.
Yeah.
Again, from a co-op, that asynchronous. The
Do I have
co-op
a
was
veto
great.
Right? Do I have a veto
On the
right
co-op?
there?
You didn't like it?
I think I might veto
Look,
that.
Okay.
It's a little bit. It's a little. It came out end of last year, but it's a lot cheaper now. I actually would say if you have friends, or if you have brothers, siblings, sisters who will play with you. Either way, I would actually say pick up a Wii U and Nintendo Land if you have the money. It's a lot cheaper. Nintendo Land
is fun.
It is so much fun with friends.
Even by yourself, though.
Right? Yeah. It's
I'd rather play the Pikmin on there by myself.
And actually, you know
I
what?
love it.
And Wii U's starting to get more games, so I would
recommendations.
recommend pick up a Wii U with Nintendo Land if you have the money.
Yeah.
I'd actually say get that over an Xbox One or PS4.
I think this holiday season 100%, right? That's where the games are.
Right, because that's where there's
I
actually
have
games to
3
play.
solid recommendations that will not cost you a lot of money and will leave the people that you give them to not angry with you.
Flabbergasted.
Go
Lay 'em on me,
ahead.
Grant. Lay 'em
Go
on me.
ahead.
Lost Planet 3,
Okay.
Okay.
Shadow Warrior,
No kidding.
and the Blood Dragon DLC.
All right.
That's the one I know.
Not
All
gonna
right.
spend that much money
freaking
with
love
these
Blood
gifts.
Dragon.
Not gonna spend that much money with these gifts. For people that only play one game a
Yeah.
year or 2 games a year, or don't play games at all. These are great games to get them started on.
I want to add, it's an old game, 2011 game, but now it's 10
Dark
bucks.
Souls, that's right.
Skyrim. Skyrim never gets old, and especially if you have a PC, go get that. And don't knock Arkham Origins.
Well,
I'm
all right, one thing
excited about
See,
that.
Toluca Baduka says, I play
Arkham
Nintendo Land with my
Origins.
little bros and sis all the time because it's amazing.
All right, one recommendation talk about if you're gonna get a Wii U and you do actually enjoy survival horror, I suggest picking up Zombie U. It's actually, you feel genuine tension again in a zombie game. You actually feel like you're going to die multiple times, and in fact you happen to die a lot in that game if you're not careful.
John, you're gonna
Yeah,
die.
and if you like the supernatural, get Luigi's Dark Moon.
Hate Christmas music.
Luigi's Dark
You
Moon.
don't have a soul.
Yeah,
Correct.
she doesn't have any feelings.
Pure
so.
joy.
Well, you better not go in my car where I have the Christmas
Oh,
channel.
it makes me
on.
want to stab
Christmas channel.
things.
Why
Well,
is
on
that?
XM
Dedicated
Radio,
to this.
let's just go to 4 holiday traditions.
You're
Fair
one
enough.
of those dedicated Jewish people that listen to Christmas music in
We
his car.
celebrate both holidays, and honestly, Christmas is basically just an American
The only
holiday now.
Christmas album I listen to is South Park's Mr. Hanky's Very Merry Christmas album.
All right.
I like that one, but that's it.
Fair
Man, I'm
enough.
gonna be
Oh
mad.
my gosh, people in the chat have not played Skyrim. It's driving me
How do you
nuts.
play Skyrim?
It's the best game.
At least 2 people
No.
that count. Yeah.
So
It is.
Actually,
doesn't get old.
I liked Oblivion more.
I didn't like
Wow, I can
Skyrim.
see the pain in her face.
I like The Reckoning
anthology
better.
that's coming out, so if you don't want to play Skyrim and you want to go back and visit the old games like Morrowind and Oblivion, the anthology is
Skyrim.
Yeah,
landing.
V Hin5 saying Wii U was the best thing I got as soon as Wind Waker
Vin
HD
Hinny.
came out. V Hinfi.
Yeah.
Vinfi.
Vinfi.
Kevin Marino, I played Arkham Origins. It is so disappointing.
It's just
so
fun.
I was disappointed too, Kevin.
I am so disappointed.
I was
Don't have any
disappointed too.
expectations.
Were you?
You
All right.
Yes.
I liked it.
And Toluca Baduka says frowny face.
Aww.
I don't know. It was frowny face over, I think, Arkham.
Well, he said smiley face earlier, so yeah.
He
no, he
likes
said
Fallout
licky
better.
face.
Licky face.
It's not tongue out face. It's
Fallout was
licky
good,
face.
But Skyrim is phenomenal.
I didn't like Skyrim.
Oh my gosh, Rachel, you're killing me.
But we already knew this before. We
Yeah.
knew that if you brought
He's
it up,
very
she'd be
vocal
like,
about
it.
"Eh."
Let's move on. Well, if we think of any
$10.
more games, we'll bring them up. But let's go ahead and move on to gaming moments of the week.
Yes.
And I'll go ahead and jump right in with mine because it's fantastic.
Yes, it is.
I have a video to show.
Yep.
It's been a while since I've shown a video. So if you know anything about me, it's the fact that when I get married, there's nothing I care about wedding-wise except for one thing. It could be eloping. I don't care if we elope or not. I don't care if it's a big wedding or small wedding. Nothing matters to me except for I want a giant, amazing wedding cake.
Okay.
Like a fantastic wedding cake.
yeah.
So with that said, not that this is the wedding cake I want because I want it to be even bigger than this, but this wedding cake is fantastic
Is it
for
Dark
any
Souls?
gamer out there.
You're like a prima donna. You want the huge wedding cake?
Yeah,
The
this-
one thing I want is Stormtroopers.
it's the one thing I
No,
want,
it's
okay?
the posh cake.
I need
this
the
is
one
the
thing I
most
want.
at my wedding.
best thing I saw on the internet
Check
all
out
week.
this fantastic cake! And there are multiple cakes.
Is it projected on it?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
projected on it.
Isn't that great?
So this one happens to be Donkey Kong, but later they have another old school classic
There are
arcade
other Mario
cake.
games.
So
I just hate this music.
yeah, we don't need the music, but and here's like more cakes that they're showing from classic games, Ice
So
Climber.
ridiculous.
So I just think that is badass.
It's so magical.
So
All I want is a
man.
I want a River City ransom cake.
I wanted to know if this was just a video playing on it or if you could actually play the cake.
Oh, that I'm sure you can actually if they.
Picking up a controller and
If
playing
they
the
made it
cake.
so it's projected on, you probably
so
could.
hard.
I would love to play the Sonic 3D level on a cake.
Yes.
That'd be amazing. So yeah, this is my gaming moment of the week. 3D projected.
I love it.
On video game cakes.
Looks like they were
Amazing.
playing something.
I don't know. They're also playing
Screensaver.
screensaver
Yeah.
game. So
See, I like this better because it looks like it's actually
Like
fit.
angled.
Like
Yeah.
Sonic didn't look like it was
yeah,
fit
the Mario
for the
one
cake.
does look the best. I
And
agree.
Pac-Man looked really good too.
Yeah, the dog, but this one looks the best. The
Yeah,
Donkey Kong
absolutely.
I
with
love
the different
it.
levels.
Thank you.
So yeah, have your doubts beforehand, Rach. Blow your mind.
Yeah, I know.
So this
I know.
is an entertainment company which has now gone into a new area that they are going to dominate. Projected cakes.
It's fantastic.
Yes, Kevin Moreno says that is awesome because it is.
Yeah.
And it's
Because it
cakey.
is.
Yeah, and it's easy as hell because whoever makes the cake, they don't have to go through a lot of pain
It's
to
just
make
white.
the cake. pretty.
It's just white.
And Luke
It's
Evans,
like-
I love the cake too.
They just
I
go
heard
to
cake too.
Target and buy cake mix and plop, plop, plop.
The
So-
Rich B brought up a good point. Like, that is built for Qbert.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
That is a
Well
missed
said.
opportunity.
You can even get the perspective going on it and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, you know, he nailed it. It was great.
That's perfect. All right, Kaori.
Ooh, Portal, good idea.
Oh my gosh, I don't really have one. Can I have an anti-gaming moment
Yeah.
of the week?
Please
Ooh, we
do.
love
Yeah,
that. I think Patrick
Was
might
it
have
VGX?
talk shit about
beginning of the
Gone
week.
Home.
It actually is Gone Home. Yeah, but I got $20 out of it because I don't want to spoil it, but it just felt so redundant and lame and boring, and the story, everything sucked. The end.
Okay. Well, talk off mic. I'm not personally offended. I just took a lot
I was
out of that.
actually,
spoil
I was
it.
more interested in the side story going on.
Totally.
It's just-
Absolutely. And we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll
And
talk
then
about that later.
Can we go
was
right in?
predictable,
Can we
too.
go right
Okay.
into the next negative gaming moment of the week? Non-gaming.
Is
moment
that
of the
you
week?
then, Grant?
do it.
Yeah, go for it. No, it's Patrick,
Negativity.
right?
I'm a non-gaming moment of the
Yeah.
week. All
Okay,
right.
all right.
All right. So, not to bring it down. Can I get real with you guys?
no,
no,
I'm
no.
off.
He's not taking off his pants again.
I've taken my pants off. No, so what happened? I had a really interesting experience, a sobering experience, if you will, this week. So this weekend, Saturday was going to be I was just committed to play games. I was going to watch the VGX and play games all day long. I
Sure.
rarely ever play more than an hour at a time, and I was like, you know what? This is going to be my vacation. We're starting the holidays off right. I got a call on a last-second project for work where I was going to be required to work all weekend. So it was a little right. Totally, I was a little disappointed. So I'm in my head.
Yeah.
I went to the gym and I was just angry at the gym. I was like running out my rage. I'm like,
Oh,
you know,
man,
fuck,
you got
all
must
I-
got a good workout in.
all I want to do
That's where you
is
get
play
to work?
games. No, all I want to do is play games. This is, first world problems, right?
Right.
Like, oh, rough. I don't get to play the games on my next gen console, and So anyway, walking to my car, just really in my head about how terrible this was. No, and a guy grabbed me and he said, "Hey,
I was close.
Close." But a guy did grab me, scared the hell out of me. He was tiny, but he grabbed me. He's like, "Hey, man, can you help?" And I'm like, yeah, the guy was young, very clearly homeless, and in a real bad way. And I was like, what do you need? And he said, normally I'd say food, but it's really getting cold. Do you happen to have anything that I could bundle up with? And I just luckily happened to clear, because I buy clothes like a woman. I have this whole closet full of winter clothes that I was going to be donating anyway. So I was like, I'll come back. I'll be right back. I happen to have some Thanksgiving leftovers, and I brought this stuff to this guy because it was just shit that I wasn't going to be using anyway.
Right.
And he just openly wept. I mean, this kid was probably 22, 23 years old, and it drastically realigned my perceptions of, at this holiday season, I mean, just remember how fortunate we are. We're talking about gaming. It's a luxury that we're all in a position where we get to sit and play games and live relatively comfortably. And so it's really caused me to be introspective. And for the holiday season, I'm going to see if because I'm not involved in the community in any way with the homeless or any of this. And I'm going to look for ways over the holiday season to kind of give back a little bit more, because I think this year I feel incredibly blessed monetarily, and just the fact that we're able to play games. Last of our problems is where we're going to sleep tonight or what we're going to eat, right? So anyway,
Except for John. He's been
John's
sleeping in the
sleeping
booth.
out. Yep. Anyway, my non-gaming mood changed my week. So
Yeah. Well, no, that's a good story. That's good on you.
That's a good
That's a
story.
Yeah. Now follow that up, Rachel.
My gaming moment of the week is getting to be a pink kitty cat. It's my dream come true, okay? I've always wanted to be a pink kitty cat.
Okay, so is Super Mario 3D World really a good game, or is it just good because you get to play as a pink kitty cat?
That's all you
a
need
good
to tell me
question.
right there.
That's a good question. It's a good game. It is a good game.
With cats.
Okay.
But it's better
cat
being a kitty
costumes.
cat.
Well, it does look like a fun outfit because you have to climb on everything.
Yeah,
Even seeing
it's a good game.
Mario and Luigi and Princess Peach in those costumes is fun. Even seeing Toad in the costume is fun. It's funny.
I just get mad because, it's got the old school, time limit, the 3-minute time limit. And I'm such an explorer. And in Super Mario 3D World or whatever, World 3D, I don't know where 3D goes in that title.
You can't turn that off, can you?
No, you can't turn the timer off. And there's so many different places you can explore that I'm always running out of time. It drives me crazy. It's like, don't give me all these different options to explore and things I need to collect. You give me rewards for exploring, but then you punish me with a time limit. And that makes me angry.
Yeah. I agree. That's actually that whole exploration thing. That's sort of what ruined the Link to the Past, Link Between Worlds to me. That was the exact same world as the Link to the Past. And my favorite thing about Zelda games is exploration.
But you knew everything was.
I already knew everything. I'm just like, man, that kind of ruins the exploration factor of Zelda.
Sure.
That's what, to me, is exciting, is discovery. But
oh, you know what else is fun that I'm playing? Dead
Yes.
Rising 3.
All right.
I like
I
Dead
barely
Rising
scratched
2.
the surface on that.
Patrick, I just finished reviewing it and I couldn't put it down after I was done reviewing
I'm
it.
excited
I just kept
to dive
going and
in.
going.
Yeah, again, my only problem with Dead Rising 3 is the time limit. I hate that my missions all
you can
have
turn that off.
times. You can turn off the time limit for each individual mission.
No, they still expire, right?
For the daytime.
Overall, okay, yeah, I don't like that my missions. I've got 3 missions on the left side, and they all have this little bar that's ticking closer. That's taking me too long to start the mission and get the mission over with. And again, I just want to freaking explore, and I want to do missions on my own time.
Oh, man, the crowd tech in that game is something else, isn't it? When you turn a corner and you see 1,000.
Yes, and you're just like, I'm going the other way.
All right, Grant, what is your moment?
My gaming moment of the week was getting to play Dungeons & Dragons Neverwinter. Game came out in June, but I just got my hands on it and spent about 5 or 10 hours of it in the game the last couple of days since the VGX. I was downloading it. It came out last week on Steam, and it's free to play, free to buy. And the microtransactions are actually pretty convincing. I spent $10 in the game already. Ugh.
Wow. No, boo microtransactions. This is my anti-gaming moment of the week now.
That's my gaming moment of the week. It's actually pretty good. It's if you don't want to spend money, you can play it. If you do want to spend money, it's pretty fun.
All right, well, we need to jump on some quick hits real quick. So it is time for some weighty gaming. I'm saying that because there's a new virtual reality device called Reactive Grip that's going to be coming up. You know what? I got to say that it makes it so it changes the weight when you're playing the game. It's a controller with the weight changing. I think that's actually really cool.
That's really
One of my
cool,
favorite things about going to the arcade is playing games. It's like using the handgun games like House of the Dead where you actually feel the weight of the gun. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. So next quick hit story is Konami requesting Skullgirls being taken down. That's because there are some rights transferring over.
Back and forth, yeah.
So that's basically a transfer of rights for people wondering what's going on with that. Atari is planning to end their bankruptcy. They have a 3-year recovery plan. If you guys remember us talking about before them going bankrupt, they're planning to try and do a recovery plan. So good for them. I hope it works out. Microsoft is closing shop in Victoria, Canada because Canada. Let's move on to the next story.
Because Canada.
So, Ouya is accepting bitcoins as currency. So, apparently, there's a tweet out from Ouya's official company account that they'd be accepting bitcoins as currency.
Not in the store.
On the website.
You can only order the Ouya.
Yeah.
You can't buy content on it with Bitcoin.
But that's pretty crazy.
It's awesome. It's the future.
So,
yeah.
I'm big on Bitcoin.
His watch is the future.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Grant's watch is the future.
Yeah, it is.
So, Year of Luigi is going to continue into 2014. Not big news, but that's worth mentioning.
Nope.
Nobody likes Luigi.
Nintendo turned around on
Luigi.
Nintendo literally turned around
I
on
love
2013
Luigi.
and said, "Hey, wait a minute! It was the year of Luigi, and we barely even celebrated that shit. Let's
the
take
guy-
it on into 2014."
Yeah, they
I'm
didn't do anything
actually
for
okay
it.
with this. I like Luigi. He's
And the guy that
man.
played Luigi just passed away. Like, it was this
Yeah.
weird, like, you're Luigi, and then they just, anyway. He went out
So the guy that went,
Oh, you meant in the live
is like
movie.
Yes.
dead, and
Okay.
I'm sure they
Okay.
can't find a replacement for him.
No, that's not the same Luigi. Charles Martinet does all of like Mario and Luigi and stuff. He was talking about live action Luigi.
Oh, I thought, but that's John Leguizamo.
Oh, I love that you know that.
that's from the-
How
No, John Leguizamo did not pass away.
you?
A
Neither
Luigi
did
passed
Charles
away.
Martinet.
Okay.
That was
He
from
didn't
the
pass
Mario
away.
Brothers movie.
He does
That's
all
John
of them,
Leguizamo.
like Mario, Waluigi, Wario.
See, Toluca Baduka loves Luigi!
I love Luigi too, but
Nobody
they should-
loves Luigi.
They should have the year of the peach. A peach.
That sounds
That
sexual.
sounds great. I will live the Year of the Peach every year.
I love it.
So, the Warcraft film cast has been announced.
Yes.
So? No, I'm just kidding.
No, this is a pretty big deal because by the time everybody's done with playing World of Warcraft, the movie will fall.
Yeah, it's in 2016, right?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of cachet does that brand have in 2016?
I don't know. 2 years from now, I honestly do not know.
They had to
Well,
get out of the
maybe
way
if
of
they
Star
finally come out
Wars.
with Warcraft 4.
I'm thinking that the next version of their MMO is going to come out in 2014, 2015. It's going to carry the brand. Honestly, you're right. The brand can't carry itself the next 2-3 years.
So here are some cast members. Ben Foster from The Messenger
I
310
love Ben
Humor.
I love Ben Foster, too.
I love Ben
He's
Foster.
I don't know who
fantastic.
that is.
Travis Fimmel from Vikings.
I don't know who that
Paula
is.
Patton from Two Guns and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
Robin
I know
Wright's
her
wifey?
as a voice, but I don't know her.
She's always saucy.
I don't know who that is.
I did notice
Robin
with
Thicke's
this
wife.
a lot of
I don't know
people
who Robin Thicke is.
on this list are voice actors.
Got
because
those
these
blood
digital.
The anthem. The anthem of the summer.
I don't know celebrities. I suck at Hollywood
Hey,
stuff.
could you pipe that in, John? Blurred lines.
That's okay.
There's a
I have
blurred
enough
line if we
rape going
can.
into my
Right, yeah,
ear. I
good
don't
point.
need to play that.
So, and Toby Cabell from Wrath of the Titans, Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, and Rob Kaczynski from
He's
True
playing
Blood
a villain.
All right, all right.
Is he
and
not?
Pacific Rim.
Toby,
and Red Tail.
isn't Toby playing a villain?
I'm not sure.
It's interesting. They think the brand is so strong that they cast relatively, I mean, Ben Foster's done some stuff, but
Yeah,
he's still
but
a
voice
lightweight.
actors.
You know what,
But
though?
it's like,
actors,
At least they didn't cast Ben Kingsley because he's been in every terrible video game movie. So
That's a
it's
good
probably
point.
a bad,
Excellent
good thing
point.
that he wasn't in.
Yeah, okay.
So there's like, let's not do it and not have bad foreboding tides. So, question for you guys for next week is, if you saw the VGX Awards, what did you think of them this year, especially compared to last year if you ever watched? And if not, what do you guys think, or what are you hoping to get over the holidays? What are you looking forward to, games that you haven't played yet that you're really hoping for? Like, what are you like I got to get this game and pick this one up. So we want to hear that from you guys. But to wrap us up, we're going to play some awesome beats.
Awesome beats.
So from Super Mario, this is from Mario 64, the song that's going to be playing. It's I actually think this is like one of the best remixes ever, so I'm glad to drop this. It's from OC Remix, and I don't have my notes with me from who it's by, so go check on YouTube.
Damon
check us out
Hill.
on YouTube. That's actually not the guy who made it. He
All right,
just
hold
ripped
on.
it.
Let me see.
Can't credit the Ripper.
Artist, The Wingless.
The Wingless. It's great. I don't know. I just think this is a great, relaxing song. Great song from Mario 64. So, guys, once again, I'm Dave Klein. You can find me on Twitter at @TheDaveKlein. That's Klein. And check out Game Control on Twitter at Game Control Live, or join us on YouTube at Game Control Tube. Make sure to comment, tweet us, let us know your thoughts about VGX and what we're talking about. Kaori.
You can find me at KAORIOUS. Kaorius. Please find me.
You can find me on Twitter at GAK.
And you can find me on Twitter at the Raychul.
You can find me at P to the Dees. I also host a podcast on iTunes called Pixel by Pixel, and we're about to get into our Game of the Year stuff, so it's about to get real, y'all.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did they get a trophy?
It's gonna get yeah.
Whoa,
I'd like
are
to
they gonna
thank
get Best
again. I'd like to
Professor?
thank my parents.
Peels the sticker off the trophy.
Exactly.
Get this trophy.
Yeah.
And John.
You can find me at @NowQuick.
I think we should end on Patrick's acceptance speech, accepting his award.
Oh no.
I'd like to. I've thanked my parents in the past. I've thanked God, but really, I want to thank sources like Polygon and IGN that help me understand the video game industry and Nerdluster.
What about the marketing culture that allowed all those video games to get accepted over the other ones?
There you go. So,
Shout out to Naughty Dog
thanks, yeah.
for best developer,
Yeah, hey, there you go. There
because
you
they
go.
deserved it.
Couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you.
All right, guys. See you next time. Later.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
Evening. So aggressive.
Hey, now it's stuck.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.